All right, welcome to number 3. This is formative assessment 2.4. And I'm going to do number 3 here, but I'm not going to use the quadratic, okay? Let me just show you this, okay? So this thing is going to go up, right? It's going to go down, right? This is actually 40 meters here, okay? And then the question here is, when will it reach a height of 27 meters? Okay, it's going to reach 27 meters twice, and I'm going to show you how to find that time. We're not going to use the quadratic equation this time. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's just do that right now. Let's set up the SUVOT, right? So we'll go from the ground to 27 meters, right? Okay, so 27 meters, that's our displacement, right? Our initial velocity is still 28 meters per second. I should have picked two numbers that were different, right? Our acceleration is still negative 9.81, right? And now what I'm going to do is, instead of setting up the quadratic equation with s equals ut plus 1 FAT squared, I'm just going to solve for that final velocity. Okay, I'm going to use v squared equals u squared plus 2as. Okay, that's a 2 actually, okay? Well, if I do that, right, v is of course going to be, what the absolute value of v will be the square root of 28 squared plus 2 times a, which is negative 9.81, right, times 27. So let's figure that out. Second square root 28 squared plus 2 times negative 9.81 times 27. Okay. Now, if this number gets too big, you'll actually get an imaginary answer. But this one's right. This is 15.9455. Okay, so it's plus or minus, equals plus or minus 15.9455 meters per second. Now, I'm going to write that down. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go storage alpha v. That's my my velocity, okay? Now, understand that it's going to pass this point twice. On the way up, it's plus 15.9455, right? And on the way down, it's negative 15 point the same, right? 9455, okay? And so all we have to do is use v equals u plus at once for the way up and once for the way down. So let's do that, right? I got to divide up my space here, right? Okay, so I'm going to use v equals u plus at, right? And on the way up, I'll make the initial velocity. The initial velocity for both will be positive 28 meters per second, right? Okay, so, but on the way up, it's positive 15.9455. So I go positive 15.9455 equals 28 plus negative 9.81 times t, right? Well, if I solve that, if I go that, I get 1.228, right? Or 1.23 seconds, right? If I do it for the way down, I just do the same thing, v equals u plus at, right? My final velocity, though, is negative 15.9455, right? And then that equals 28 plus negative 9.81 times t, right? Well, now when I solve this, right, when I put this guy on the other side, this is like a big number, right? So there we go, divided by 9.81. And I get, when I do this, I get 4.47966. Whoa, this thing's having a hard time tracking my motion there. Right, so that's the 4.48 seconds that we get for that. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you like the quadratic equation, bust that out. You really should be able to do the quadratic equation. If you don't like the quadratic equation, solve this thing. But just remember, when you take the square root of a square, you get an absolute value, which means that it could be positive or negative that. And then you can use this formula to find the time. Okay, that works as well.